The short drive up I-65 for the top team in the USL's Eastern Conference and the defending USL Cup champions. It's the first ever league match between Louisville City FC and the Indy 11. And in case you did not believe me, there is the geographic proof. Again, 16 out of a possible 18 points through 6 matches. The best ever start in the 4-year history of the visitors in Louisville City FC. Alongside Brad Hodder, Greg Rakestraw with you. Thank you so much for joining us for Indy 11 Soccer on My Indy TV. We'll get back to Louisville in a matter of moments. But Brad, let's focus now on the Indy 11. They had allowed 2 goals in the first 5 matches of the season. They allowed 3 on Wednesday in a 3-2 loss to FC Cincinnati. And frankly, it was a series of preventable mistakes.
Yeah, a really uncharacteristic performance from the 11. You had guys that were unpressed from FC Cincinnati. You had runs that were untracked. A lot of turnovers in the back third. This is the kind of match that you want. After that, you've got 2 to 3 days before you can play again. But this is when you clean up just from film. You can look at it and you know what you've got to fix.
And it's an Indy 11 team that, with the mistakes, they had a 2-1 lead late in the first half. Anytime you score 2 goals at home, you feel you got to take home the 3 points.
And that's what's disappointing. Not just that you scored 2 at home, but you did have the lead and you let it slip away.
And again, you go from playing a very good team in FC Cincinnati to perhaps the best team in the USL, and again, the defending Cup champs in Louisville City FC. They are known as a team that is a very blue-collar team, a great tactical team, but they have had an individual of brilliance so far this year. Their leading goal scorer, a candidate for the USL's Player of the Month in Cameron Lancaster.
Yeah, he's been fantastic, and he's heating up at the right time. Last year, 5 goals all season. Now he's already got 4 through their first 6 matches. He's got this unique ability to pull the trigger in traffic, congested, with very little space to execute.
Lancaster's been a part of Louisville City FC since day one. Before that, spent 6 years as a youth and then a young pro training in England. In fact, he's appeared in a match for Tottenham Hotspur during his career. He has brought that talent from the UK to, well, a place that's not far from UK, that being Louisville, Kentucky. First of 3 matches between these 2 teams this season. The other 2 take place at Slugger Field in Louisville. So an only chance for home points for the Indy 11 against Lou City FC. And it comes your way next on My Indy TV. Indy 11 Soccer is brought to us by Community Health, exceptional care simply delivered. Community Health Network. By Honda, proud to be the official automotive sponsor of Indy 11. By Turkish Airlines, widen your world. And by The Room Place, get it all at The Room Place. Teams have made their way to the pitch, led by our match referee today in John Freeman. Let's quickly show you the starting lineups. They are presented by Honda Manufacturers of Indiana, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. And of note for the 11 is who is not in the starting lineup. Tyler Pasher will not play in today's match. It's the first match he has missed this season. He went 80 last Saturday in Charlotte, 90 on Wednesday. Zach Steinberger gets the nod, and Kevin Venegas at right back gets his second start of the season. He had been dealing with a hamstring injury. And the lineup for Lou City FC, we referenced the fact that Cameron Lancaster is their top scorer at 4 of their 10 goals so far this season. He and Ilya Ilic, they have guys that have been here for the length of this Lou City franchise. There you see head coach Martin Rennie in his first season with the Indy 11. Of course, he has spent time in Major League Soccer with Vancouver, amongst other stops in his coaching career. And there is James O'Connor. He is the only coach in the history of this Louisville City program. Had an outstanding playing career that dated nearly 15 years in England, with stops along the way like Stoke, West Brom, Burnley, and Sheffield Wednesday. We thank you, as always, for joining us for this high noon start for Indy 11 Soccer on My Indy TV. This is the last afternoon home game of the season for the Indy 11. Greg Ranjitsingh pounces on that cross intended for the speedy Nathan Lewis, and those 2 might know each other because they are both internationally tied to playing for Trinidad and Tobago. Ranjitsingh is from Canada and played at Mercer University, Division I college in Georgia, but his father is from TNT, and that is the country of his international soccer duty, if you will. Lewis, one of 2 Trinidad and Tobagans on the Indy 11 roster and on the pitch. Center back Carlisle Mitchell is the other. Let's talk about keys to the game. They are presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers. Come out clicked in. This team wasn't on Wednesday night.
That correct. For Indy, they've got to be locked in. Wednesday night, they gave up 2 goals in the first 10 minutes of each half. You just can't put yourself in that position and play an uphill game against the top team. Second, they have to manage the pace. The third of 3 matches in 8 days. Don't get into a back and forth game and get into your legs too early. For Louisville, reduce restarts in the defensive third. McInerney to Saad, that little tap and hit has shown itself to be lethal. Louisville will be wise to stay away from that, and then keep Indy out of transition. You know, there's going to be moments in this game where you could see Indy maybe sitting in a little bit to rest their legs and trying to break out in transition. Either the early foul or just the lack of turnover in the defensive third is going to play well into stopping Indy from getting out on the break.
The flick forward by Watson, trying to track down Suni Saad, quickly swept away by Louisville City FC. You reference the rest on the legs. Louisville City comes in far more rested than does the Indy 11. Indy played at midweek, that 3-2 loss to FC Cincinnati. Louisville has been parked since their 5th win of the season of the 3-1 variety against Bethlehem Steel FC. That one goes up and over the bar. Fawn Williams had it eyeballed the entire way. Goal kick coming for Owine. Time now for our injury report, brought to us by Community Health Network Sports Medicine, official sports medicine provider for the Indy 11. Again, Ben Lundgaard, the backup goalkeeper to Owine Fawn Williams, out long-term with a thumb injury. Eugene Starikoff and Heiner Ferreira will hopefully be back in training next week. I think Starikoff probably closer than Ferreira, but both those guys have now reached the point in time, Brad, where they are more short-term injuries.
Yeah, and possibly even available if they need spot minutes, but right now you've got such depth, there's no reason to risk it this early in the season.
Zach Steinberger knocked off the ball, and Lou City FC will track it down. And these teams have played in terms of preseason friendlies before, and they met in back-to-back years in the 3rd round of the U.S. Open Cup, both games at Carroll Stadium. In 2015, Louisville won in added extra time. Foul called against Nathan Lewis of the Indy 11, as he and Paco Craig both currently on the Lucas Oil Stadium turf. The last competitive match, if you're between these two teams, was also played at Carroll Stadium, won by the Indy 11, one of their 2 Open Cup wins in franchise history. And Lewis will have created the contact, even though by landing on the boot of Craig, he got the worst of the wear. And Lewis was a player that did not make his debut for the Indy 11 until week 3 because of international duty for Trinidad and Tobago, and he had to leave that match against North Carolina FC early. He played 30 minutes on Wednesday night, coming in as a substitution for Ben Spees.
That's a lot of wear and tear. You've got national duty as well as your club team, and you're pretty much playing 12 months a year.
Long distance ball, settled just outside of the 18 by George Davis IV for Louisville City. They scored 3 goals in the opening 22 minutes of their victory last Saturday.
And you can see, you know, by design that they've gone into a 3-4-3. They got 3 forwards pressing high. They recognize that they were able to put that Bethlehem game out of reach in the first 22 minutes with 3 goals. And they also, you know, you looked at film of Indy 11 versus FC Cincinnati giving up early goals in both the first and the second half. It's a recipe to really press a team early on and see if you can get that game slanted in your direction.
Well defended by Lou City. McInerney was the target of that ball. But back to make the play was Paco Craig. Paco, one of 3 players on this Louisville City FC team that are from a tiny college in Georgia, Young Harris College, at the Division II level. 2 of the 3 are on the field as we speak. But it is kind of a where's Waldo, a where in the world is Carmen Sandiego level of recruiting for Louisville City FC. Some of the places they have pulled players, but what is remarkable is their togetherness. 16 players returned from last year's USL Cup champions. A lot of them are smaller college players.
Yeah, it speaks well to not just their scouting, their philosophy, and the way that you know, from the top, the ownership to the front office to the coaching staff to the players, all buy into a similar philosophy that allows them to be able to keep the players that they have. But you referenced it, you know, you got Mercer College, you got Robert Morris, you've got Young Harris, you've got Transylvania. All of these guys are, you know, not on the radar, and they're able to find them.
Bit of a giveaway here. Sod and McInerney linking up. They've got some supporting runs. Quickly closed down, though, by Louisville City FC. Give and go. Now settled by Ioze. He had one of the two Indy 11 tallies on Wednesday night. McInerney had the other. Venegas. I don't think that's the ball that Kevin wanted to hit. It's our first chance to see Kevin at home, although we had seen him many times at his previous stop at Minnesota United. He was one of the first off-season signees for the Indy 11. California native. Had spent the last 6 years with Minnesota United, including their inaugural MLS campaign a season ago. Watson just can't find much in the way of space. Able to win that ball back. Sod trying to look for a window to shoot it, and just too much traffic for Lou City FC. Pitch dimensions here inside Lucas Oil Stadium, 110 yards by 70 yards. Louisville City FC, because of playing on a baseball field, slugger field in downtown Louisville, they are used to playing these smaller dimensions, but the speed of this turf is something they will have to adjust to on the fly.
And Coach O'Connor referenced that when he was talking pregame about, you know, what are the challenges of playing here, and he said that, you know, the biggest thing is checking out the turf. Is every turf is a little bit different, and so, you know, when you get out and you get your first touches on the ball, does it play well? Does it play fast?
Head-to-head contact, and that is the reason why play is stopped. I don't think that's a foul on McInerney. That's just two guys going for the ball. And Kyle Smith is the player that is down on the turf. And again, when there's a head injury, you do not wait. You make the move immediately.
And they're referencing a jersey, too, so there's likely a little bit of blood that's been drawn.
We've referenced the somewhat small college nature of finding diamonds in the rough for this Louisville City FC program. Kyle Smith was one of them. Played Division III soccer, as I pat the back of a Division III coach in Brad Hodder. He played at Transylvania University in downtown Lexington.
Yeah, they've got a strong program. And you take a look at a couple years ago, I think probably when he was on the rosters, they either made it to the Elite Eight or the Final Four in the national tournament. They do have a strong program, and they've got a pretty storied history.
Brian Gerlach checking out McInerney, and you reference blood potentially, and making sure that's not coming from McInerney as well. So McInerney, no worse for wear. And there are some lines, and this is the first year we've had a chance to broadcast Jack's games, but there are some lines that we begin to use seemingly on a game-in, game-out basis, and McInerney plays far more physical than his size would indicate.
It's, you know, I think a testament to him turning pro at such an early age is that he has the skill, he's got the speed, but you do have to develop a toughness, not just physically, but mentally, to be able to jump right from high school into the pro level, and you can see that in the way he plays.
So Smith will be assisted off. They've got to stop the blood flow for him to get back into the contest, so temporarily Lou City FC will play a man down. And Lou City should boot this ball back down the way to restart the match here for the Indy 11. And that was not a foul on McInerney, just a collision of the heads and going for the 50-50 ball. With that, Owain Fawn Williams will get some steps in to go track it down. This Louisville City FC program has made the Final Four, if you will, the Eastern Conference Finals or the USL Cup Finals in all 3 years of their existence. Eastern Conference runners-up in 2015 and 2016, and then the USL Cup champions beating the Swope Park Rangers in front of over 11,000 fans at Slugger Field last November.
Consistency is one of those things that you really look for. You look for it in players, you look for it in teams, and you referenced coach has been there from the beginning. A lot of these players have long tenure. They've got great support from their fan base, and they've been consistent too in the standings and their performance on the field.
This portion of the match presented by Community Health Sports Medicine, keeping athletes at the top of their game. Visit ecommunity.com/sports.
It's a great ball.
Ioze charging forward. No Tyler Pasture today for the Indy 11. What does that mean for the Indy 11 attack, the speed they've been able to use a passer so far this year?
Well, what he's been really effective at doing is just chewing up some space with the ball, and then when he does get into a 1-versus-1, he's very comfortable and tactically, you know, and technically able to execute and beat that first guy, and that causes a shift from the defenders to fix that space, and that typically opens up somebody on the other side. Now, you're missing him today, but you know, does he have what he normally brings with this being the third game in 8 days?
This roster has tremendous depth on it. Again, Lou City currently playing a man down while Smith is being tended to. He wants to come back in. I think he's being told a little more work is going to be required before he's able to re-enter the fray. And he will have a fashionable new headband now for the rest of the match, will Kyle Smith. Fashionable as in the Revolutionary War days. But then again, it's Derby Day for the players from Louisville, so headgear fashion is common on this day and in this time of year for the folks from Kentuckiana.
Hey, you notice a few that have traveled up from Louisville. You got some hats down here in the end zone. Oh, clever ball.
Nico Mattern lifts it over for Lewis, and Nico Mattern's absence, he just, again, 3 matches in 8 days. He did not play on Wednesday night. Some of those defensive miscues in midfield on Wednesday, I'm not sure those happen on Nico Mattern's watch.
Very possibly, but you look at the complete game that he's got there. McInerney makes a run out to the touchline. What that does is that opens up a pocket of space for Lewis, and Mattern is able to deliver that ball right into that pocket.
Smith has returned, both sides now at full strength. This is Mattern, the rookie from Germany, and Indiana Wesleyan. Right idea, just a bit too strong on the run by Venegas, and a goal kick coming for Greg Ranjitsin. You can see Nico, and Nico's story was talked about on Soccer Saturday this morning on 107.5 FM and 1070 The Fan by head coach Martin Rennie. Nico was a guy that was really brought in just as an extra body for training in February, and impressed so much after 3 days. He was offered a contract. He was going to be able to go back for his sophomore year at Indiana Wesleyan, and now is playing professionally in the States.
Well, think of the 12 months that he's had. I mean, he was playing in lower divisions in Germany, made the decision, you know what, I'm going to get, oh, a clever ball.
Wonderful leave. Jimenez trying to get an angle to shoot it, could not do it. Well defended by Mattern yet again. The next combination play, shot lifted up and over the bar, but frankly, that's the first threatening moment for either side on goal 14 minutes in.
And perfectly defended by Mattern. You know, Jimenez is coming across the middle right as he has the chance to pull the trigger. Mattern closes it down. But a year ago, he's playing in the lower divisions and really trying to make a decision. Do I continue to try and push on this professional playing track? And he made this, you know what, I'm going to go. I've got an opportunity to go to the States, got a scholarship, Indiana Wesleyan. I'm going to go pursue my degree. Had, you know, really had put the thoughts of being a professional player on the back shelf. And then this crazy opportunity comes up, and here 12 months later, he's an integral part of the Indy 11.
Nico says he has friends and family that watch on ESPN Plus every match. So if you're watching from Germany on dinner time on this Saturday evening, we say hello to you and thanks for dialing us up today. It's the captain's armband belonging to Matt Watson today. That's been rotated back and forth between he and Brad Ring. Ring got the start on Wednesday with Venegas starting it right back and not Ring. It goes back on Matt Watson. Watson was named as the team captain at the end of the preseason. He's now played 14 years professionally here in North America, and it's the first time that he has been named a team captain. Ioze providing support. Great hesitation. Goes to the right foot looking for Lewis. Cleared out of the 18 by Lou City FC. But having that left back being integral in the attack for the Indy 11, that tradition now continuing over from the last couple of years.
Yeah, then the nice part is he can deliver a great serve, but he's also a guy that you can trust to hold the ball in tight spaces. I mean, you saw Wednesday night, he can have 3 guys around him. He's still able to maintain possession and then find the right outlet pass.
Ball the feet now of Carl Lamette. Both he and Mitchell went the distance on Wednesday. And generally it's thought on those short, weak matches, quick turnarounds, it's not as taxing on the center backs and on the goalkeeper to play Wednesday and turn around and play on Saturday.
Well, one of the nice parts about having a veteran team is that you've been in these situations before and you know how to manage your body and manage your minutes. And whether that means an adjustment here in the third match where maybe you don't chase down 50-50 balls, it's got to be a 75% ball before you're really going to expend the energy to get forward. Or, you know, maybe it's you've managed it through the first 2 games. You've kind of dialed in a few things and not expended the same energy you would if you only had 2 matches in a week.
What are you seeing differently from Indy, Brad, in this match so far, maybe that you were not seeing in the game against Cincinnati on Wednesday night?
Cleaner, a lot cleaner play. You know, the balls to feet, the settling, the touches, the moving of the ball. There's just more of a thought and purpose, whereas that first 10 minutes of the match on Wednesday night, a lot of turnovers, a lot of unpressed players from FC Cincinnati. So it's more of a, you know, Coach Rooney talked about it after the game, is that and it was really the first time that he had seen this team kind of take a little step back. It was just uncharacteristic. And you're allowed those through the course of a long season. And when you look at what they've brought here tonight, it's kind of back on par with what you expect.
Foul on the original pass and not the then tackled by Venegas on Lancaster. I think that's the correct call. Advantage was being played on the turf. Magnus Rasmussen. And you'll see the work here. That was absolutely a late challenge by Carlisle Mitchell. So the first set piece of this game goes to Lou City here in minute number 18. And much like Magnus, who hails from Denmark, you have played professionally in Denmark, so you kind of are Danish consulate on the broadcast.
Wow.
Try to, it comes with no money.
A lot of responsibility.
Just an honorary title, so it won't affect your paycheck. Pronounce his name in the Danish way for me, if you would.
When I was going through pregame notes this week, I mentioned to my wife, hey, and she's from Denmark, is that they've got a Danish player.
Jimenez will finish the story in a matter of moments, and this one falls harmlessly at the feet of Owain van Williams. So finish away.
The Danes are a very, very proud people. And so she wanted me to make sure that I pronounced his name correctly in the Danish way. And I don't know that I have it, but we practiced for hours.
On the cross, and this one will be overcooked, so say it.
Magnus Rasmussen.
We're going to go with Magnus from this point forward, but thank you for your efforts.
Not a problem.
Nonetheless, Soccer Saturday, 107.5 FM and 1070 The Fan, every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Grant Wall was our guest today, talking about his brand new book that you can buy now, Masters of Modern Soccer. We talked with Martin Rennie and our buddy Scott Stewart, now of Louisville City FC. The podcast available at 1070thefan.com. Magnus played with Louisville City in 2015 and 2016, went back to Denmark to play in 2017, and now back with Louisville for a 3rd season this year. There weren't exactly a need to have much in the way of team get-togethers to introduce new players as Louisville City squad. Lewis has a look. Lewis!
That first touch just got a little bit far.
Ruled to be a corner. The defender says it shouldn't be. The official not going to change his mind. Lewis couldn't get the near post. He will get a corner kick out of the effort.
Great buildup. Great buildup.
That's Paco Craig that closed him out. So first corner of the match belongs to Indy in minute number 20.
And one of the things you get with Suni Sad on restarts is you get a very consistent ball in. Never mind.
Ball knocked away, but he'll have a second opportunity.
Okay, here we go.
The broadcast jinx is in mid-season form for my colleague today. Saad with one more opportunity here.
You'd love to see Mitchell or we met on the other end of it.
Went low for the top of the 6. Couldn't get through to Mitchell. Now the counter is on. Lewis quickly back to negate that for the Indy 11. Jose his first Indy 11 goal on the penalty earned by Saad. Each team with a goal from the spot in Wednesday's 3-2 FC Cincinnati victory. This is rivalry week for the Indy 11. They are done playing Louisville and Cincy in this building until potentially the postseason as of today. By the way, this segment of the match is presented by the Room Place. Get it all at the Room Place. First time that Venegas has played on this term. There'll be an adjustment period for him as well at right back for the Indy 11. Part of the best 11 during his days in the North American Soccer League with Minnesota United. He and Zach Steinberger grew up not that far apart from each other in California. Kevin just a couple of years older. Both California natives that have made their way to Indy. Kevin, a relatively new resident of the state. Zach played 4 years of college soccer at Butler University. McInerney midfield. Slides it through perfectly to Saad. Saad couldn't keep it on his boots, though, getting inside of the 18. Great hustle back by McInerney.
It's a world-class ball that he threaded through into Suni.
Tries it on the diagonal ball to Lewis. Whether it's in McInerney or Iose, that's been the play for the Indy 11 today. Supporting run by Venegas. Venegas on the cross, and it's one he'd like to have back.
One difference that you see from the 11 today versus Wednesday night is their ability to move the ball, keep possession, and really kind of maintain a little bit of control of the match. Whereas with Wednesday, it just seemed to be very, very random.
Mattern holding things down in the midfield for the Indy 11. First Indy 11 player to hail from Indiana Wesleyan University. IUPUI, IU DePaul amongst Indiana schools that have had Indy 11 players in years gone by. A perfectly timed tackle by Paco Craig. And again, timing is something that is hereditary in the Craig family. His father, the bassist for Culture Club back in the 80s. And I will note that's my first ever Culture Club reference on an Indy 11 broadcast.
I was going through my notes. I would agree with that. I did not see a Culture Club reference at all in the last 4 years.
We'll have to get back into the archives at some point on that one.
I mean, you're as good with music as you are with sports. I mean, Wednesday night you're talking off camera about Tony. Never heard of that band. Or was that a song?
It's the band, thank you. Lancaster can't get to it. And very calmly, ball is steered away. And Mattern unhappy that Venegas didn't really come to get it. Tries to work it around Rasmussen and cannot. Mitchell will buy some real estate, sending it back towards the midfield.
And I'd say that's one of the benefits of having three front runners, as Louisville has lined up today, is you've got the ability to press a back line and force some turnovers.
This is Del Piccolo, knocked off the ball by Steinberger. In a game with few fouls at this point, now 2 against the Indy 11. Restart coming quickly. Let's show you the replay of the foul. And I would agree with the call on both fouls so far. They've been rather obvious. Steinberger in his second stint with the Indy 11 and draws a foul from Rasmussen and earns the ball back for the boys in blue. So Zach played with the Indy 11 in 2015, then spent 2 years playing for the Jacksonville Armada and easily had his best year as a pro last year in Jacksonville. But he too one of the early signees for the Indy 11 this offseason. Select is the official soccer ball of the USL. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit SelectSportAmerica.com. Receive free shipping on orders over $50. 5 wins and 1 draw so far for Lou City. Their only draw coming 2 weeks ago against Atlanta United 2. Got the full 3 points from every other match they've played. As my partner noted a few moments ago, it is very early in the season. This is match 7 for each of these 2 teams. There are 27 more regular season matches to go. And these 2 teams' regular season will end against one another October the 13th at Slugger Field in downtown Louisville.
The interesting part about early runs like Louisville City is on right now is, you're early in the season, and so teams are still trying to find their personalities and the flavors, and the players are as well. Everybody's working with lineups, and so the data, the amount of film you have on each team is not extensive right now. So a lot of the tactics are something put up in your game plan, but then the players have to react to it in real time. So it speaks to a high individual player IQ when you're able to navigate without the data you'll have later in the season to be able to be.
McInerney, who has now had to don the headband via tape as well for a cut, and ruled that he impeded the progress of the Lou City player who had gotten there first. And Mitchell, a native of Trinidad and Tobago, but with a move that Indiana high school basketball coaches would appreciate, as he boxed out Lancaster for a good 10 yards to make sure that ball goes across the end line for a goal kick. Actually will turn into a foul. That's a free throw rebounding drill right there.
It's incredible. You just bring it all together for the viewer.
Well, it's a Saturday afternoon. Why not do a Wild World of Sports style broadcast on the program? It is a very busy sports day. We've referenced the Kentucky Derby taking place, the mini marathon happening just outside of the building throughout the course of the day. Although if you're not finished by now, you probably shouldn't be running in the mini marathon. Watson, good turn. Lengthy trek for Watson, and Watson draws the foul.
They bailed him out.
We've referenced the fact he's played for 14 years in North America. A veteran move by Watson, perhaps going down, knowing the ball wasn't coming back to your feet.
Yeah, and George Davis has to do better than that. He's got to realize that the touch got away from him and there was no reason to give him a second bite.
And frankly, I don't think Davis got him on the swipe. I think he kind of stumbled and clipped Watson inadvertently. Nonetheless, it works for the Indy 11. I don't think it was the play for the ball that got him in trouble. I think he kind of stumbled after the play. So set piece opportunity here, and again it is Sooney Sod. This will work like a bit of a short corner. Mitchell, the tallest target inside of the 18. Looking back post and nobody there. And as has been the case at times this season, everything comes until about the final third. Yeah. It's that last touch that's been a problem.
Yeah, the 11 have had no problem all season creating great opportunities. It's been the execution in the final third. And you take a look at two corners in that restart. Those are three balls that Sooney Sod would like to have back.
Cloud cover now prevailing overhead, but it has made this, you always want to have the sun out. However, temperature-wise, it is absolutely perfect with the roof and north window open here at Lucas Oil Stadium. Fourth home match. Twice it's been indoor soccer. Second time it's been outdoor soccer, with 13 remaining home matches yet to be played here at the home of the Indianapolis Colts. Off the head of Iose for a Louisville City throw-in. Fans, you can show your Indy 11 pride and get your exclusive Indiana Members Credit Union Indy 11 debit card at any Indiana Members Credit Union branch or online at imcu.com today. Erasmussen on the cross, the settle, a stumble, a ricochet off of Mitchell, a jersey tug that goes uncalled, and the ball rocketed back to midfield by the Indy 11. And Fawn Williams will pounce on this one to slow things down just a bit. Menegas is saying, hey, I kind of lost my jersey there for a second. But no harm on the potential no foul call. Good flick forward by Sod, except he had no supporting run. Indy has played one draw this season. That was last Saturday of the 0-0 variety against the Charlotte Independents. Frankly, a draw against the best team in your conference is usually a pretty good result, with the exception of it's the only time you got them at home this season. You got to go to their place on August 5th and October the 13th. You'd like to be greedy and get 3.
Oh, well done, man.
And that'll be the foul because of the run could not be continued. Restart coming from just shy of the midfield stripe. And Watson spending some time on the turf for good reasons for the Indy 11.
Yeah, liked his mindset there. Once they broke pressure, to really try and quickly get it out the other way.
Mitchell will be able to chase this virtually uncontested. Good read by Mattern. He does not play like a kid who was a college soccer player in the fall, does he?
No, but I think that was 25, 26 years old. I
25.
think he, his experience is more than just that year.
There. And that'll be a foul given. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure about that one because he got there late. I'm not sure how he made contact with the ball. It shows you just his great level of athleticism. But if I'm the defender, I understand why you're upset about that call. Because McInerney was there for a millisecond, the right millisecond. The Louisville player was there first.
I tell you what, we're 30 minutes in. McInerney's already taken a pounding today.
McInerney spent the first 8 years of his pro career in Major League Soccer. Began playing in MLS at the age of 17 for the Philadelphia Union. Spent last year with the LA Galaxy. Ball sent in, asked for a handball. Referee says nope, touch the chest. And now Lancaster sent chasing. Ouimet in his hip pocket.
Well played.
And the second time that Ouimet was able to dispossess Lancaster in the opening 30-plus minutes. Now Lewis could maintain possession. These teams have been very evenly matched. Handball is the whistle here against Lou City. Illich, the running mate up top. Cameron Lancaster. Nothing has been easy in the midfield for either team. Every pass, every touch has been contested. The ball could not stay in play. Throw in coming for the Indy 11. This portion of the match presented by Honda Manufacturers of Indiana, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Look at Suni Saad. He had the brace in the last Saturday matinee for the Indy 11. The win 3 weeks ago against Nashville SC. Now some room to operate for Steinberger. Looking for the cross, headed, but up and over the bar. Good look by Zach. Suni just kind of couldn't get the controlling touch that he wanted to on it. A couple of quick looks up by Zach just to scan the field, because he's not shy about calling his own number from that distance.
No, he picked up a lot of confidence last year with some of the goals that he scored and the role that he had down in Jacksonville.
He had a candidate for goal of the year in the North American Soccer League last year from a May match against the New York Cosmos on a volley from outside the 18. Great win by Ouimet. Jose taken away by Davis. The slide forward.
As good of a player in tight spaces as Jose is, the way that Louisville is pressing with 3 up top and the 4 midfielders tucking in right behind them, you got to move the ball quicker through your back line.
Rasmussen and Venegas waging battle. Nothing called either direction. Throw in coming for Indy. Coming up at halftime, we'll have the latest edition of the Blake Down. It is from Tampa Bay Rowdies striker Jack Blake, breaking down plays from all across the USL. Comes your way at halftime, and you can see it at any time by checking out the USL's YouTube channel. Good read by Steinberger, Blake's teammate in Jacksonville a season ago. Lewis, good read. Chance with a quick counter. McInerney trying to stay on side. Ball doesn't head his way. Steinberger right
good flick.
Back to Lewis. Just a step behind him. 2 defenders there. Steinberger avoids them all. And And he sees two more defenders. Saad goes to the turf, does not get the whistle. Saad put himself in harm's way, trying to draw the contact. Talking about guys that are having more of an impact today than maybe they did on Wednesday. Steinberger would be of that group. Getting his second start in 4 days. Watson. And that's a card coming. Our first card of the match shown to Paulo Del Piccolo for Lou City FC. And as we mentioned, this has largely been a game that's been relatively foul-free. Watson earned the card. Del Piccolo plowed through his leg in his effort to get that ball. Right idea, just too strong on the touch by Steinberger. Steinberger, formerly the 8th draft pick in the 2015 MLS Super Draft of the Houston Dynamo after 4 great years at Butler University. Butler again had a first-round pick in the draft this past year. Carmel native, 5-year goalkeeper Eric Dick, now part of the Sporting Kansas City franchise. This portion of the match presented by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. Take your business to the next level in a state that works. Great job by Mitchell to hold his ground. Venegas. That ball defied the laws of physics a couple of times, not going across the sideline. Throw it coming for Venegas. A glance at Martin Rennie on the sideline. Should he be happy what he's seeing from his team right now, Brad?
Yeah, I think you've held the better of the play. I think you've had some pretty dangerous opportunities. You know, I think the one thing that you want to remind them at halftime is you got to reduce your touches in the back line because the pressure's coming at a rate you haven't seen yet this season. And I'd actually like the wing midfielders to hold their runs a little bit more. You got a 3-back system that Louisville's playing, so there's a little bit more space on the back, on the outsides, and when Lewis and Steinberger press up a little bit too much, you bring their wing backs back, and now they're playing with a 5-back. So maybe hold those runs, wait for that ball to be delivered, and then accelerate into that space.
Sports of the match presented by Turkish Airlines. Widen your world. We will talk to Martin Rennie in the Turkish Airlines halftime interview at the end of halftime. Venegas takes the bump from Jimenez. And there's going to be a bit of a conversation here on that little shoulder dip. The ball was heading out of bounds.
Yeah, you could see Coach Rennie was not happy with how far Venegas was off of Jimenez the opportunity that Louisville had, and so he wanted him up closer, and so when he was in position to be able to just step in front of Jimenez and deny him the ball, and Jimenez took exception to that. A little push in the back.
John Freeman, our match referee today, did a very solid job so far. Adrian McDonald, Jeffrey Swartzel, our assistant referees, and Eric Burton is today's 4th official. Lancaster tracking it down. Easy call. He rolled for the foul. Lancaster a brace last week. Thinks that Venegas took a bit of a dive on the play. Lancaster tied for the 2nd most goals in Louisville's franchise history with 16. Has a chance to pass the leader by the end of this season. That leader accomplished that mark in 1 year. Matt Fondy, their first year in 2015, had 22 goals. We saw Matt the last 2 seasons playing for first Jacksonville and then for North Carolina FC. And we have a player injury behind the play. That is Speedy Williams, the player that is down for Louisville City FC. Native of Jamaica. And they ask for the trainer to come out immediately. It's friendly fire.
It's, you don't know if it was the head or the neck knocked his wind out of him a little bit, but You know, sometimes when you do get a head injury like that, the way that your body just kind of collapses, and it was good that you didn't see that, because it didn't look like he lost consciousness at all during that.
Louisville City have just 6 reserve players listed for today's game, and 2 of them are goalkeepers. 1 forward, 2 mids, and a defender are the players that are available for selection off the bench for Coach O'Connor's squad. For a second time, Louisville City FC will play temporarily a man down. Ryan Owensby, Luke Spencer, Niall McCabe, Alexi Swahi, the 4 non-goalkeepers available off the bench today for Lou City.
There's some flexibility in the guys that are out there. Rasmussen, he can play in the back line, so they can tweak a few things, even though they've only got, you know, 1 defender listed as a sub. And part of it goes to the philosophy of the kind of players that they look for. I had a chance to visit with Scott Stewart, former Indy 11. Actually sat in your chair a couple times, and he talked about how when they sit down with a player before they even get on the field, there's a psychological test, and if you don't pass that personality test, you're not going to the field.
McInerney with the settle. Williams back on the field. New City at full strength. Venegas doesn't draw the whistle. Counter opportunity here. Rasmussen. Lancaster had to hold up his run to stay onside and threw off the timing of the play.
Wasted ball.
Venegas a little slow to get up behind the play. The USL's official Twitter feed keeps you up to date with news and live game updates and highlights from around the league 24/7. Follow @USL on Twitter. Visit USLsoccer.com for more details. There will be, because of the pair of injury stoppages, at least a couple of minutes, I would imagine, of stoppage time before we get to the halftime break. These closing moments of the half presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Ren Jetsing over to grab that one, and frankly, he and Owain Von Williams have largely been spectators in today's match.
It's been an 18-18 game.
Steinberger. Full complement of players, by the way, available for selection off the bench for the Indy 11. Reference the fact that Tyler Pasher's not in the starting lineup. He's not in the 18 either. Ring, Russin, Guerra, Moses, Spies, and Braun, the 6 field players available for selection if needed off the bench. And Jordan Farr is the other goalkeeper in uniform today as well, the rookie who has yet to see match action this season. You can imagine you might see him get his first time in the U.S. Open Cup, which will be in 11 days and a long way from here. Giveaway by Mitchell. Let's see if Lou City can pounce. Jimenez first to the ball. Rasmussen springs it for Jimenez. Good work by Mitchell. It is ruled that he touched it last, so a corner coming for Louisville.
Good recovery. I think, you know, in those situations where there was a mishit ball or a bad decision, you know, with the amount of pressure that you're going to be under with this front 3 from Louisville, if you don't have a clear option, that ball just needs to be driven up the field.
Jimenez to take the corner. One-man traffic in front of Von Williams. 4 inside of the 18 for Lou City. Bending ball. Who touched it last? Lou City did. Goal kick coming for the native of Wales and Owain Von Williams. McInerney got a flick on it, but didn't get much on it.
He's had a game today. I think this is the best we've seen of him.
4 minutes, so we got ourselves some time here before we get to halftime. And we had a lengthy stop because of the head wrap you see both Kyle Smith as well as Jack McInerney wearing. In fact, the head wrap for Smith has been changed a couple of times, it looks like. Long distance ball, Mitchell. They work between he and Venegas. Second match they have played together. Now Saad.
What a ball.
With Smith tracking him. McInerney wants it back post. Doesn't get through. Good read by Steinberger. Well, this match has been about as level as you could imagine.
Yeah, two very different styles, but boy, it's anybody's game.
And Venegas, big play.
There you go.
Draws a set piece opportunity. Saad has shown brilliance from the top of the 18. From this corner, let's see what direction it'll go. And Jimenez draws the foul.
You like the angle that it is here for a left-footed player like Ioze to be able to serve a ball in, and then that allows you to put Suni Saad into a scoring position.
This be Venegas with the right foot.
I tell you, they plugged it up, but there was a ball that you could have slid in there a second ago. I like Matt Watson coming in the back post as well. That's a nice option.
Ioze. McInerney. Ranjitsingh got just enough to it. However, the offside flag was up, and McInerney did not level with the high line, and that's the reason the flag went up.
It was a good ball, though.
The stat holds true from when we last were together on Wednesday night. The Indy 11 still looking for their first second-half goal of the season. It's worth noting if this is 0-0 going into halftime. They had not allowed a second-half goal until Wednesday night's game. The game winner coming from Corbin Bone of FC Cincinnati. Williams, most of his work has been of this variety. The high hoppers that he can easily claim without much traffic around him. Line on loan from Inverness Caledonian Thistle, his team in the Scottish Premier League. Spent many years playing at the League One level in England. Good read by Watson, but couldn't get a controlling touch. Here in the closing moments of the half. Jimenez. Now Lewis. Mattern, as advertised, cleaning up the midfield today for the Indy 11. Suni Saad get there? Nope, not in time. And that is the end of, again, about as level of a half of football as you are going to see. Opportunities few and far between for the two teams because both teams were so good at shutting things down just outside of the 18.
And some missed opportunities. I thought that, Lancaster continued to want that ball over the top in the center and to try and get in a foot race with Ouimet and Mitchell for it. And Louisville kept delivering that ball. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can be able to just find that one that gets through.
The top team in the Eastern Conference, the USL, Lou City FC at 0, and the Indy 11 trying to maintain their place and climb the rungs of the ladder a little bit in the East. They have yet to score either. Halftime show comes your way next on My Indy TV. You will hear more of this conversation coming up during our post-game show. Hopefully we'll hear from an Indy 11 goal scorer or two in the post-game show as well. But a guy that knows how to find the back of the net, and he's done so against the Indy 11 in the past, is Jack Blake. These days he is playing for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, and every week on the USL's YouTube channel, he has the Blake Down. We're proud to bring this week's edition to you here on our halftime show.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of The Breakdown. Really excited to analyse the plays of the week this week. We even have an ESPN Sports Center #1 in the top 10. I hope you enjoy.
Great little move there from Cooper. Sends it across. It's Jamal Johnson.
The first play from Jamal Johnson here is his goal. If you watch when he picks the ball up, he has almost like a 8 to 10 meter radius around him, and that's created by his movement and his space. You know, he's recognized that when he's going into the box that he doesn't need to make the first post run, he doesn't need to make the far post run. It's an extremely difficult finish, and it's coming across his body, and he makes extremely good contact on the ball. He uses the pace of the cross and slots it right into the corner.
To have a completely open view of what's happening. Oh my goodness, what a goal!
I don't think there's any doubt as to why this was the #1 on the ESPN Sports Center. It's a very special thing for a player to see a goalkeeper off a line, especially from a goal kick, because he's not expecting the ball to bounce to him, especially the way it bounced to him. So when the ball did bounce to him, I think that he just thinks, why not? And he's just showing everyone there is the technique that he has, but he also showed me what I feel as though is the mentality of a player, which is something that we've not seen yet this season. I think it's fantastic.
Isn't anything. Francois takes it away, plays it back, Brett holds, scores!
Yes, what a great pullback.
Francois' defensive play here is what creates the goal. You know, his teammate loses the ball, he takes a bad touch, but he doesn't give up on it, and he persists, and his reaction to the turnover is fantastic. And then Brett can either do one or two things. He can take a touch or he can finish it first time. The defender thinks he's going to take a first-time shot, and that's what then allows him to have the composure to relax, take the touch, and it's a great finish.
Manila makes a meal out of that one. Now Ledesma on the breakaway, and it's 3-0 as he chips Maxi Crepo.
This goal for Cincinnati in the 76th minute is a lot about anticipation for Ledesma. The defender makes a great decision here to play the ball in behind, and when the Ottawa defender makes the mistake, and again he anticipates the mistake, maybe if it was 0-0 at the time and he was going on to win the game or try and win the game, he might have taken a touch close to the keeper. But with the way they were playing, I completely understand why he's taken the first-time finish. Thank you for watching the Breakdown on Week 7. As you can see, some fantastic goals, some fantastic plays, and I've really enjoyed analysing them. I look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you very much, Jack. And back at Lucas Oil Stadium, 0-0 the score between Indy 11 and Louisville City FC. Again, Greg Rakestraw, Brad Hodder with you here on My Indy TV. Brad, your thoughts on the opening 45?
I thought it was a great 45. I think both teams have a good tactical plan. I think both are adjusting well to it. Indy's got to be careful of the repossession from the pressure of the front three from Louisville. And the back three from Louisville have to be cautious. Jack McInerney is being able to switch that ball through the midfield really well.
Let's show you the table in the Eastern Conference in the USL. And as we talked about in the pregame show, I mentioned a couple of times during the run of play, Louisville City FC atop with 16 points out of 18. FC Cincinnati has played one additional match. But the remarkably tough start of this season in terms of quality of opponent for the Indy 11 continues, because the next couple of teams they play, once they get through this game, they're at Pittsburgh next Friday, and then a couple of weeks later, they go at the #3 team at the New York Red Bulls. May is a rugged month for the Indy 11.
Great opportunity for them. That's the way you'd like it. You not only want to pull points for yourself, but you want to pull them away from the teams that you're competing against.
Our out-of-town scoreboard is presented by our friends at Crown Plaza downtown and at the airport. Penn FC already with a 3-0 victory, that coming last night against Tampa Bay Rowdies. And you see some of the highlighted matchups that do take place either later today or tomorrow. Again, those are the key matchups in the United Soccer League in the Eastern Conference, and those are presented by our friends at Crown Plaza, Indianapolis downtown. More coverage of Indy 11 soccer comes your way next here on My Indy TV. Indy 11 soccer is brought to us by Community Health. Dream big, work hard, finish strong. Community Sports Medicine, official sports medicine provider of the Indy 11. By Honda, proud to be the official automotive sponsor of Indy 11. By Turkish Airlines, widen your world. And by The Room Place, get it all at The Room Place. Great day for fans of either side here at Lucas Oil Stadium, hoping for their team's first goal of the match. 0-0, but even with no goals, there are plenty of highlights to be shown, whether it's great defensive play or perhaps some missed opportunities for either side.
Yeah, I love the way that McInerney is finding the space and moving the ball. I think with the back three, you've got those pockets of space on the wings, and he's finding them every time he gets the ball.
when there have been opportunities in the midfield for the Indy 11, which haven't been that often, it has led to good looks in and around the 18.
And you look at the work rate from McInerney, too. I mean, he's not only been switching the ball, but he's tracking back defensively whenever there's a turnover.
The crosses in the corners have been not as precise as the Indy 11 would have liked to have had them today. However, the defensive effort has been top-notch.
It has. I mean, they've really tightened things up. You looked at Wednesday night. It was a disappointing effort, and you haven't seen any hints of that still on Saturday.
It all leads to zeros on the board so far for the Indy 11, and frankly the same for FC Cincinnati.
You referenced the work rate from the keepers. There's not been a shot on goal. Everything is just cleaning up balls that come through or back passes.
Possession 55-45 in favor of the Indy 11 to this point. Duels won have been in the opposite number in favor of Louisville City FC. What was the stat that you saw there, Brad?
The crosses, eight crosses from Indy 11. That shows to the amount of space that's open out on the wings.
Time now for our coach's interview. Let's get to the sidelines and Martin Rennie. Martin, your thoughts on your team's performance in the first 45 minutes?
Yeah, I'm very happy with that. It was excellent intensity. I think both teams are quality teams, both playing at a high level, good intensity to what they're doing, and now we need more of that in the second half.
Anything you need to clean up or do a little bit better?
Well, obviously there's little chances, little touches in the final third, but we're playing against a good team and we're right there making sure that we're on top of everything. We must keep doing that and make sure we adjust defensively when we lose the ball. But overall, we've had a good half and now we need another one.
Thanks, Coach. Talk to you after the game. Yep. Martin Rennie, our Turkish Airlines coach's interview. Turkish Airlines is the official international airline of Indy 11 soccer. Turkish Airlines, widen your world.
You get, when you look at those 8 crosses, you've got the wings are being defended by Louisville's wing midfielders. Their back 3 are sitting in the box waiting to be on the other end of that serve. So where the 11 is going to be effective is not just in continuing to attack the flanks, but then to be able to outwork one of those 3 backs in the center of the field and be first to the ball.
There will be a substitution to start this half, and it will be of the attacking variety for Louisville City FC. Brian Ownby will come, and they're going to see Brian on screen. He is replacing Magnus Rasmussen. So no more attempts for you to pronounce the name the Danish way, unfortunately for Mr. Rasmussen, but Brian Ownby coming in. Again, this is attacker for Lou City.
And part of that comes from the fact that when you expect your when you're playing with the front 3 and you're looking for repossessions and you're looking to press your opponent's back line, that takes a lot of energy. So you need some fresh legs up there sooner rather than later. Obviously, with as hot as Lancaster is, he's not the one that you want to pull.
This is Ownby's second season with Louisville City. Played with the Richmond Kickers prior to that. So underway we are in half number 2. The 11 have not scored in the second half of a match this year. They have allowed just 1 goal in the second half of a match this season. Louisville City has had some dramatic late game winners. That was not the case a week ago. All of the business against Bethlehem Steel was into the first half of that match as well. And a 3-1 Lou City victory 7 days ago. Head wrap is now gone from Jack McInerney. It remains for Kyle Smith with their collision from earlier in the match. And behind the play, Davis on the turf. And the assistant referee felt that was worthy of a foul. So the restart coming from just in front of the Lou City bench for the visitors from Kentucky. Del Piccolo and Jimenez having a bit of a debate as to where this restart should go. There frankly have been few of these opportunities for either side in today's game.
And you can see the value that the 11 place on defending this. Everybody's back.
And before, let's do this one more time.
Let's see if Louisville changes things up. They were going to have Jimenez hit that ball.
Del Piccolo now looking back post, and Mitchell will give the corner. 10 goals have been scored by Lou City in their 6 matches played so far. They have put a 0 up defensively in half of their matches. 3 clean sheets so far for Greg Ranjetsing. Good bend to this one, but just missed the intended target. And Saad trying to shield this one out of play, and does so successfully. Second home game in 4 days for the Indy 11. Giveaway by Suni Saad Davis, applying pressure, and earns another corner.
Yeah, and that goes philosophically. That just goes to the pressure that Louisville's putting on. It's not a game that you can play a little dink and dunk in the back line. You've got to get that ball up the field because you just don't have the space and you don't have the time. This is a corner kick that didn't need to happen.
So in the opening 3+ minutes, 2 corners and a set piece. Pressure being applied here by Lou City. This one deflects off of Lewis. Saad didn't get the clearance he wanted to, and Williams doesn't take the chance from Illich. I believe that was wide, but if you can snag it, no reason to
ambitious ball right there.
Trust the post to help you.
No, and I think that also, you know, with as much energy as Louisville City is spending in pressing that ball, if you can grab that ball and put it into play as opposed to a goal kick, you've got more of a chance to catch them unbalanced.
Reference the fact that Greg Ranjetsing has 3 clean sheets for Louisville this year, as Fawn Williams didn't put the boot to the ball the way he wanted to on that one. So does Alwine Fawn Williams for the Indy 11. Good play by Mitchell. Took charge of that to get it out of the 18 with haste. All those clean sheets, though, for Fawn Williams have been on the road. Calmly headed down by Smith to Ranjetsing. Fans can get exclusive video content and photography from across the USL by following the league's Instagram account at USL Soccer. Lewis.
Whoa.
Great touch. The cross doesn't get through. Steinberger was the target. Seth Tosh, first time we have called his name today, makes the play but gives the corner in front of the BYB.
What an incredible opportunity. Great touch by Nathan just to allow himself to get out and use his speed, and Steinberger's making the perfect run.
It's Suni Saad, his 3rd corner of the game. A little room by McInerney. Just trying to steer it up and around Ranjetsing, and did so by lifting it over the bar.
Great opportunity, I tell you. Ranjetsing knew his goal. That could have almost been another corner kick if he would have kept his hand up, but he knew where his goal was.
And that'll be a foul whistle against Lou City. That goes against Lancaster. And much as we have been impressed by the physicality of McInerney, Lancaster has not left anything in that department either for Louisville City.
I like the way he plays.
He had 8 goals a season ago, did Lancaster. Already 4 through 6 matches this year, including 2 last week. This portion of the match is presented by Community Health Sports Medicine. Keeping athletes at the top of their game. Visit ecommunity.com/sports. Met's able to lift that ball around the fresh legs of Ownby, who came in at halftime, replacing Rasmussen.
Such an effective ball.
Ioze, good close down, however. Ownby with the ricochet.
You got to love the way that Louisville just presses there's no touch that the 11 have that is open. They contest everything.
Suni Sad again. The watchful eyes of Juan Guerra down there in the corner. It will be the short variety to Lewis. Lewis with the left foot and can't keep it in play. Barely kept it in the building. First Indy 11 call-up for international duty in a few years when Lewis missed the first 2 matches to play for Trinidad and Tobago. Eric Morales had a couple of those the first 2 years for Honduras. Ben Spencer had that the first year, playing for the U20 national program. Good sign when you're getting that level of talent to play for your club. Nice looking flick forward, but ball from Saad was ruled to have been out of play. Maybe even before it got to Saad, it was ruled to be out of play. McInerney right idea. Good follow-up by Steinberger to keep the attack alive. Now Mattern looking for the long-distance ball. But not enough in the vicinity of Lewis to be a difference-making pass. The 11 does have something close to a full week before their next match. Their only Friday night match of the season comes up this week. They visit the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, who, like Louisville, made it through April without a loss. Much as Indy will play Louisville on 3 occasions, they will also play Pittsburgh on 3 occasions this season. First of those comes up on Friday night at 7 o'clock. Our next telecast will be the next home match for the Indy 11. That too, the first of 3 against Bethlehem Steel FC, the farm club, if you will, of the Philadelphia Union. That'll be a Saturday evening match, but also a later start time than normal. That would be an 8 o'clock start. Thankfully, after that match, we will be done with the various start times, and every match past that point will be a 7 o'clock kickoff. This portion of the match presented by the Denny Companies, tearing down the past so you can build the future. Watson. Space to work with here.
Good build-up.
Venegas to Suni Saad. Saad draws the foul. And given how level the play and how few the opportunities have been in the run of play, if there's a goal in today's match, it might be coming from a set-piece look like this one. Venegas that will steer this one in. Looking for targets with height. Ouimet and Mitchell, your 2 center backs, are the most likely there.
Well, there might be a gap where you can go between the wall and the markers on the backside and just slot a ball in.
6 around the 18 for the Indy 11. Venegas looking back post.
Oh my goodness.
Brent Jetson got a hand to it. And then Lewis, 88 and out the gate. Goal kick coming for Lou City.
Wow, that's a great save. And then, you know, not a bad hit, not a bad opportunity by Nathan, but I think certainly they would have done better by driving that ball back across the box.
Ouimet was there. Absolutely, Ouimet was there. Brent Jetson, if he doesn't get to that ball, it's 1-0.
Yeah, that's a great ball.
Such is the nature of that position. You can be largely a spectator for 55 minutes. You got to be ready when the opportunity comes, and he was.
And, you know, here's the crazy thing, too, is that's not a ball on frame. It technically doesn't have a save yet. You know, a great goalkeeper is able to dismantle some opportunities before they get into an opportunity for a shot.
Steinberger in the hip pocket of the Lou City midfielder in Davis. Well done. Space for McInerney. Watson flying down the turf. I think the turf monster may have gotten to McInerney on that distribution.
Good ball.
Ownby. When Matt tries to close him out, Von Williams will pounce on the rebound, and much is the same thing that we said about Brent Jetsing. Von Williams, I'm not sure, it might be the first time he's been on the ground the entire match. Ownby looking for a goal as a sub in this match, entering at halftime.
He did well to bring that down under pressure and be able to get a shot. But it came off of a turnover from the 11 up front. They opted to go center into the teeth of the three backs instead of looking to go out wide, and that wound up with a shot on Von Williams. Oh.
Settled by McInerney. To the first touch, a bit too strong. This segment of the match is presented by the Room Place. Get it all at the Room Place. All of a sudden now, these last 3 minutes, things starting to open up, going both directions.
Yeah, and you look at that ball into McInerney, you had Steinberger coming right where you could have laid that ball back to him at the 18. I actually like the thought of him taking a touch, turning. That first touch just got away from him a little bit.
Watson on the turf. We stopped not for a foul, but because of an injury. The Indy 11 wondering, where's the foul call? Watson played 30 minutes in Wednesday's loss to FC Cincinnati. As Tosh sends him towards the turf. That might have been one of the rare ones that the official got wrong so far in today's match. Watson from England. Played 1 year of collegiate soccer at the University of Maryland at Baltimore County. Spent last year with Phoenix in the Western Conference.
It's an interesting story too. You know, he went to a pro college tryout in the UK where you're playing in front of scouts for both, you know, American universities as well as pro teams, and got an offer from UMBC and accepted it and turned into a 14-year pro career.
Fans, you can keep up to date with all the best social media from around the league as Kelsey Steele hosts Off the Post every Friday through the league's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram feeds. McInerney just keeping Ren Jetsing honest on the restart. Watson. McInerney. Iose didn't get to the ball, but did enough to ensure that possession would come back to the Indy 11. See, Coach O'Connor was a player coach at Orlando City before they went to Major League Soccer. He was named as the first head coach of Lou City FC, and he's been the only head coach of Louisville City. Native of Ireland. He referenced the fact that he's played for several different Premier League teams. One of them relegated for the first time in a decade earlier today. The Potters suffer the drop. Stoke City heading to the championship next year. The final day of the Championship League season is tomorrow. Know that Wolverhampton will be one of the 3 teams that will make their way up to the Premier League at the conclusion of the year. Mitchell goes to the turf off his noggin. Throw in coming here for Louisville City. This portion of the match presented by Honda Manufacturers of Indiana, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Mitchell didn't get the clearance that he wanted to. Ball's been kind of stuck in this spot now for a few touches. And a throw in coming from deep in the corner here for the Indy 11. Lou City did use a halftime substitution. They have 2 left, only 3 field players to pick from of that grouping if needed. Foul against Indy on the push.
Yeah, not one that's needed. Not in a game like this, you know, to give an opportunity here. I say it is a really, really fun game to watch. You know, you're looking at whether the pressure from Louisville City is going to actually turn into a repossession, turn into an opportunity for goal. And you're looking at the 11. Can the 11 take advantage of the three backs from in the space that provides from Louisville City?
Two-man wall being shown here by Indy. And before it's even an attempt, foul called against Louisville. Louisville did not allow a goal in their first 3 matches. They have allowed 1 in each of their last 3. So they've given up just 3 on the season. And that will be a throw-in for the Indy 11. They have gotten victories in 2 of those 3 matches. Their most impressive one of the season so far, a victory at FC Cincinnati. Those 2 teams will play again in Cincy on May 26th.
Good opportunity here.
Sooney Saad makes the bump, plays on. Iose looking for options. Now Lewis. Throw in coming. Both these teams are allowing less than a goal per game. Literally half a goal a contest for Louisville City allowed. Indy 11 about 0.8, having given up 5 in 6 games, but 3 of those on Wednesday. And Watson commits the foul.
It's going to be interesting to see when these 2 teams match up the next time, when it's on fresher legs and you've got some data points to pull your tactical game plan from. You know, when you look at Lewis and Pasher and the pace that they play on the outside with, are there some changes in the way that Indy will play on fresh legs than they do tonight?
In fact, the next time they play, Indy will have a 10-day break before they play in Louisville on Sunday, August the 5th. Offside flag went up if McInerney had made an attempt to play that ball. Long distance pass.
What a
Ownby
ball.
Streaking behind the defense. And Ouimet simply bails it out. Kicks it through the end zone. Corner coming for Louisville City.
Holy smokes, they found some nice opportunities over the top.
Luke Spencer about to be the next substitution in this match. Spencer won his way on to Louisville City through an open tryout. He replaces Ilya Illich here in minute number 66.
So he's 6'2", 194 pounds too. He's going to turn out to be a good target, you know, on opportunities like corner kick or a restart that they have. So it's one of the things that then he gets his head on that one.
Spencer, first touch of the match on that restart. Eventually shielded out of play. Another corner coming here for Louisville City FC. This is Spencer's 2nd season with Louisville City. 23rd overall selection by the New England Revolution, the 2012 MLS Super Draft. Ouimet got there first. Saad gets there next. And back to midfield goes possession. And Fawn Williams will track it down. And then he will try to launch Sooney Saad some 75 yards down the field.
I like the thought, but the front runners weren't on the same page. You know, they had an opportunity to go 3-on-3 against the Louisville City back line.
Now Ownby on the flick from Spencer. Spencer couldn't get a boot to it. Ouimet able to shield away Spencer. Those are 2 workhorses going at it right there.
A lot of body.
Now Lewis trying to find some open real estate. Slides it through to Steinberger.
Oh my goodness.
Left it for Saad. The 2 couldn't connect. Good pressure by McInerney. And that's going to be a card given to McInerney First card shown to the Indy 11 in today's game goes to Jack McInerney.
Huh.
So 2 cards shown towards Lou City. 1 now for the Indy 11. It must be the high boot. Clearly contact was made. I think Indy's argument is he had every right to that ball that Louisville City did, but the referee felt that, again, I think the high boot was what drew the attention of John Freeman. Two more home matches for the Indy 11 here at Lucas Oil Stadium in the month of May. 2 weeks from today against Bethlehem Steel FC on May 19th. And a Wednesday visit on May 30th by the Charleston Battery. Spencer sends it up. Lament sends it out. Montern didn't get all of it. Spencer looks to settle.
Good touch.
The touch, the swing, and Ioze will steer it back towards midfield.
You can see from his 2 goals last week, Lancaster doesn't care about traffic. He's just looking to get a good foot to the ball.
Ouimet applying pressure. Now races back to get in possession.
Little change in tactics from Louisville with Spencer coming in. He's serving more as a target. Lancaster's playing just off of him. So watch balls being driven into Spencer and little flicks, little touches into the space for Lancaster.
Well, Spencer was the target right there. Fans, you can download the official Indy 11 app now to be the first to receive breaking team news and highlights. Available on the app stores for Apple and Android devices. Of note, we are now in minute 69, and the Indy 11 have yet to use a substitution. And this is with some guys having their 3rd match in 8 days in those legs. But it's not like we have seen a sluggishness out of this team or anything along those lines. Ioze splits the difference between Saad and McInerney. Well, that's been solid as per usual today. Ernie and Craig got tied up there for just a second. And Mitchell made that one maybe a little more nervous than it needed to be. Fawn Williams does the job of forming a wall against the end line and kept it in play. Lewine learned how to deal with those turf bounces playing here in the States. Said he played a little bit on turf in England and in Scotland. This portion of the match presented by Turkish Airlines. Widen your world. And a foul called against Louisville City. Turn for Lewis. Lewis timed the run out perfectly. 5-man back line, 2 midfielders dropping for Lou City. Throw in coming, not a corner, but a throw here for Indy.
Yeah, great ball by Matern into Lewis. You'd like for Lewis to take the 1v1 before cover tucks underneath it.
Not exactly a lot of room to operate here in that part of the field. It's Venegas that will take it. Watson looking to settle, but couldn't maintain possession.
Fortunate couple bounces.
We expect the members bouncing home a couple of times. Watson looking for McInerney. He was bracketed on that play. Justin Braun will be the first Indy 11 substitution. Foul called behind the play. Restart coming here for Lou City. Justin Braun has been primarily an option off the bench to start this season for the Indy 11. As Tosh fouled by Steinberger. Tosh played his college soccer at Northern Illinois. He's been a member of 2 of the last 3 USL Cup winning teams. With the Rochester Rhinos in 2015. Of course, part of this Louisville squad that won it last year. And Ranjitsingh will track this down with little pressure inside of his own 18. Braun does have an assist this year. That was on the goal by Tyler Pasher back on April the 7th in the 1-0 victory against North Carolina FC. Looking for his first goal of this season after having 7 2 years ago and 8 in half a season last year. Braun exits. McInerney's day is done. He put in 250 minutes of work this week. He's earned his seat. Braun and Saad, the striker pair up top for the Indy 11. Lou City has 1 sub available. Indy has 2. Throw in coming, ruled to be off the boot of Spencer. Spencer not happy about it. Spencer had a clip last year where he was averaging a goal every 111 minutes on the field for Louisville City. Foul against the Indy 11. For standing stats, all the latest league news, be sure to visit uslsoccer.com.
Got to stay clicked in moments like this. I mean, look, there's a 2v1 short if they want it. They can knock it into the. I think the first time that they had this ball in this situation, they wanted Jimenez, a little decoy, and then Jimenez hit the ball in, and then they had to redo it, and they went a different way. I'll tell you, you got that target Spencer in the box.
Del Piccolo to the top of the 18. Watson got there first. Probably a service Louisville would like to have back.
That does drive you crazy as a coach. You got so much time to set up and prepare for that, and then you deliver a ball that's ineffective.
Braun draws the foul.
Great look.
The early restart by Mitchell, but official says bring it back to the point of the foul. Saw about a 5 to 10 minute burst of activity and good looks going both ways. It's stagnated a bit as of late. Good job by Jose to keep that ball in play. But you say the same things about both sides today. Just the pressure is there. Nothing has been easy. There are very few uncontested touches.
There
Lewis reads it. Lewis, can he get there? No.
The spin that came off that ball, when that contact was first made, it looked like he's going to walk in on Ranjitsingh.
And Ranjitsingh did a great job of stopping his progress with the ball at the top of the 18. Take a look at it. It never crossed the line. Great camera work by our crew. Better work by Ranjitsingh with the gloves on to avoid giving it away. Now an opportunity for Lou City. Davis able to track it down. The sliding tackle by Jose. He will give the throw in.
And a heads-up play by Tosh, too, just to step in and bother Lewis just enough.
Pressure here. Watson can't get around Paco Craig. Niftily done by Venegas. Great eyes for Braun. Now the lead for Jose. Watson wants it and gets it. Not exactly where he wanted it, but Lewis was there to provide cover. Watson
what a
finds
ball.
Lewis. Braun, Saad, Steinberger,
Handball.
targets, asks for a handball. Got it. Handball. Extended arm. For the second time in as many matches, the Indy 11 will have a home penalty. In fact, it'll be their third home penalty opportunity in 4 matches this season. And again, it's an extended arm. Whether it's intentional or not, you've got your arm extended in that situation on a cross. That's a penalty every time.
You know they watched film on Wednesday. You know they saw where Iose put that ball on Wednesday night. Does he have the confidence to go back to that same spot?
The Indy 11, 1 for 2 on penalties this season. Iose hit the last one. We'll make sure the ball is properly on the spot. Indy 11 pulled the same trick against Cincinnati.
This is as much about getting in Iose's head as it is to see if you can give another inch of space.
Looking for the brace for the week. Got it!
What a hit.
Iose, second goal in 4 days. And the Indy 11 take the lead in the 78th minute.
Now watch how Louisville, their front three presses this last 12 minutes.
Just the 4th goal allowed this season for Louisville City FC. For the Indy 11, their first second half goal of the season.
Read perfectly by Rand Jensing.
And a card will be shown to Iose. Either for time wasting the celebration. Whatever the case may be, he can live with that. I believe that Seth Moses is going to be the next Indy 11 substitution. There was a brief conversation before the penalty with him on the sidelines. He's not headed to the 4th official just yet. But it appears we could see him in the near future. And Ownby draws the foul from Sunisat. Again, there's been some late game magic for Lou City this year. Teams that are at the top of the table tend to have that knack, that quality. They're looking for it here.
Good
Ball headed in Williams. Couldn't take the chance. Had to play it up and over the bar.
Braun Drew Spencer on that restart. Looks like he's going to draw him again on this corner kick. Great matchup, as good as Justin is in the air.
Spencer's a target, working outside of the 6. Von Williams got a glove to it, steered it just outside of the 18, and now Saad. Well done. You knew this was going to be one of the tougher weeks of the season, even with having 2 matches at home, just because of the caliber of team this group was playing. You go to Charlotte, you get a point. You can't get a point or 3 against Cincinnati. This will be a great capper to the week to hand the top team in the East their first loss of the season, and knowing how to play them twice more in their building later in the year. Smith will watch that one. Across the end line for a goal kick.
It's just an incredible ball by Iose into Watson.
Fans, you can have your say on the USL's Player of the Month award for April in the online poll at uslsoccer.com. It is open now and runs to the weekend. Opportunity here for Louisville, but as advertised, Nico Matern sweeping things up for the Indy 11.
It's great. And the back pressure that he provides means Ouimet doesn't have to jump up and try and play that ball, and you can keep your shape defensively.
Lewis trying to steer that ball to Braun. Long distance ball here that Von Williams has read perfectly. Owan looking for his 4th clean sheet in 7 starts this year. Oh, but then Venegas misread it. Got a bad break off the turf, and for the Indy 11, a tremendously well-timed substitution. Give everybody a chance to get set, get behind the ball here. And it is Seth Moses. Seth spent last year playing at Puerto Rico FC. He will come in for Nathan Lewis. And Lewis taking his time walking off the pitch, as well he should. But this is certainly a defensive-minded substitution, even though Moses listed as a midfielder. This is the idea, is trying to get a little bit more behind the ball here. Moses got an immediate touch and then another handball whistled against Lou City. Moses originally from Baltimore. Spent time playing in Austria as well as Switzerland and has played in Korea.
What a life.
Of course, the last coaching job for Indy 11 man in charge, Martin Rennie, was in Seoul in South Korea from 2014 through 2016. So both teams now have one remaining substitution at their discretion. From a temperature standpoint, in terms of playing conditions, you cannot have a better day than today. Temperatures in the upper 60s, low 70s, cloud cover. If you're looking to make a final sub, it may be either injury related or simply a player that has gone most of the distance for the last 3 matches in the span of 8 days, and Venegas ruled to have fallen on that ball and played it with a hand. It'll be a restart coming for Louisville City. Met. And well done by Jose. He scored 8 goals in 5 seasons with the New York Cosmos. He has 2 in the last 4 days for the Indy 11. Both from the spot. And no foul given there.
And you got to be cautious, not just with the potential contact and a call, but Lancaster was way too open in that moment.
Approaching the 86th minute. Good step. Moses trying to weave his way through traffic. Onside is Justin Braun.
What a ball.
Tosh applying pressure. Braun, Moses wants it near side. Braun can't release it because he's being absolutely closed down by Tosh. Justin trying to earn the corner. Does not. In fact, it'll be a throw-in coming by Lou City FC.
Here you go.
Braun, the lead for Jose. Long distance.
Whoa. What a hit.
Ball had some movement to it. Ran Jetsing, played it well.
30 yards in the run of play with, what, 200 and some minutes on your legs?
Venegas sends this one towards the banners atop Lucas Oil Stadium. Braun told, hop up, not enough contact there.
Look, Lancaster coming off of Spencer. It's one of those things you may want to give a little nod to Nico to say, hey, just be attentive to it.
Watson hustling back. Williams stepping up, providing an extra body going forward for Louisville. And that's a foul on Jose.
Yeah.
So some set piece defending needed here for the Indy 11. Right now the difference, the handball against Paco Craig in the box. Jose converts from the spot. Indy Indy's trying to knock off Louisville City FC in the two teams' first ever league meeting. The two previous games that counted were in the U.S. Open Cup, with the two teams splitting the decisions in 2015 and 2016. It looks like Brad Russin will be the final sub of the game for the Indy 11.
I don't like how we're standing in this. I think it's the 11 have to be goal side.
Two-man wall being shown before have a little talking to here in terms of jostling for position. Ownby and Venegas drawing the ire of our match referee. Jimenez sends it in, looking
Good
back
serve.
post, headed down. Mitchell got in the way. Watson steers it out. Iose boots it back towards midfield.
What a play.
And Suni Saad forces the throw in favor of the Indy 11. And we have a player down. I believe it's Iose. And he is clutching his left knee just outside of the 18. But Carlisle Mitchell walls up to keep that ball out of the back of the net and keep the Indy 11 one goal to the good. Venegas.
Oh, yeah, he just got his leg bent underneath him.
Venegas is stretching out. Maybe just again, this is the second match of the season for Venegas. You hope it's nothing more than that.
I figure there might be 2-3 minutes of extra time, so
And now
you probably
more.
got 3, 4, 5 minutes left in this match, and if both of your outside backs are in danger, you've got one sub left.
The good news is that Russin, if he's going to come in, not sure if he's going to come in for either Ouimet or Mitchell. Ouimet can easily slide outside. In fact, he started at right back in the first match of the year. He may not want to test anything with Iose, but while he's walking gingerly, Venegas isn't walking at all at this point. And if you want to make a sub for Venegas, maybe it's Brad Ring that you call on in this late stage. So Venegas is going off behind the play. Iose is off as well. And if this restarts in this scenario, the Indy 11 are playing two men down. You've got to get somebody in immediately.
I think you make a sub right now, get one of the guys off to make sure you're only going one man down.
It is an Indy 11 throw-in that is coming here. And it should be. The ball was out of play. There should be no doubt about who gets the ball on a restart here. Indy had won the ball. Saad had won it. And so it's going to be an Indy 11 throw-in, at least it should be. The ball was off of Kyle Smith. Saad took it to the end line. Smith knocked it out of bounds. This should be the Indy 11's possession. It's not as if the ball had to be sent out of bounds to tend to the two injured players.
Yeah, and it happens right in front of the fourth official, so I don't know how you missed that.
Well, now we've got it figured out. In other words, the fourth official, I think, has said, hey, this is where we're going. So we are officially now into stoppage time. And because of the situation at right back, a different Brad is coming into the game. And with that, Brad Ring will enter, and his 100th appearance with the Indy 11 happens in a substitute's role. So Brad Ring in, not Brad Russin. Kevin Venegas exits. A foul on Justin Braun. So Ring in and 5 minutes of stoppage time, and now a card being shown to Justin Braun for delaying the restart here. So we still have plenty of time. Subs are done for the Indy 11. Ring at right back. Let's see how Iose can handle it at left back. But frankly, with 2 injuries and only 1 sub left, the idea was, all right, we got to bring in a right back. And so Brad Ring, his second appearance in 4 days. He becomes the second Indy 11 player with 100 appearances in a club uniform. Ball flicked forward, and that's going to be a high boot on Ownby. Mitchell goes to the turf. Ownby is shown a card. And Ownby immediately walks over with the tap on the back to Mitchell, and he understands where the card comes from. And now Brian Gerlach is running his own mini marathon today, back and forth out to the field as Mitchell is down, and the very real possibility for the Indy 11 exists. We'll have to close out this match and what will be additional added time with potentially 10 men on the field. Well, you and I talked about this at halftime, Brad. We thought there might be one goal in this match.
Oh.
And that was wrong place, wrong time for Mitchell. And again, the intent was you're going for the ball. You're trying to level the match. There was no vicious intent there by Ownby, but it is a boot to the face, and that might be reviewed by the league. And we have seen in Indy, again, and Ownby just got a card, and I think the yellow was the right call, not the red. But we saw Jack McInerney in a home match, no card given, be parked for the next match because the league ruled the challenge reckless. And Carlisle's waving off, say, hey, I'm fine. Buddy, trust me. There's no more stuff.
There's no option.
You're staying out there.
We know you're fine.
Yep. Even if you're not fine, you're fine.
Yeah, the tough part is maybe you drop Nico or you drop Watson back to that back line, maybe pull Justin Braun back into the midfield if you have to manage this for too long. But I think it's knock it up the field, wave him on.
Well, I will also say this, though. The team doctor has his arms around Mitchell. And Carlisle may say, hey, put me back in. The doctor may say otherwise. They're not exactly letting him walk freely, as you could see on screen. So I would expect the Indy 11 are a man down the rest of the way. And Fawn Williams will wait until he is prodded to absolutely do so to hit the reset button. So we are 4 minutes through stoppage time, but it is going to be, I would think, we're at least going to get to minute 97 at this point.
You just manage these opportunities right here to pull 10, 15 extra seconds. And Louisville City knows that. It's a frustrating thing to be in that position, but that's where you sit.
Braun tried to slide it through two defenders, couldn't do it. Long distance ball that Ring will rifle to Watson at midfield. Watson's touch too strong, but it finds its way to Nico Mattern. Good pressure applied by Louisville City. Now Ownby gives chase. They've got two runners heading towards the 6, but the cross was not what they wanted. The left foot of Ouimet sprays it back to midfield. Again, it says 5 minutes of added time. Add on a minute or two to that. I think a minimum of 60 seconds, if not more. Spencer goes down to the box, not enough to draw contact. Brad Ring is a strong individual. He's given up 40 pounds minimum to Spencer. A little acting deemed on the play.
And you watch that ball going into Spencer, but more importantly, watch where Lancaster plays himself, what space he gets into, because he's looking to make his runs right off of Spencer.
Ring shielded Lancaster from getting it, but Spencer will settle. Leaves it back for Williams, looks back post, and this ball will reach the end zone. That is the equivalent right now of a touchdown for the Indy 11. And Jimenez very sportingly puts the ball back on the 6.
Smart play by Jimenez.
And Owine Fawn Williams told, keep it moving. Owine will probably take a yellow here if need be, knowing you're playing a man down. And Mitchell is parked on the bench. He will not be re-entering this match. The wave forward being given. I'd say probably at least another 30 seconds on this one. Braun tries to win it. Good flick here. Spencer is onside. Ouimet gives chase. Ioze in support. The lift by Spencer. Ioze closes him down. It will be, however, a corner kick.
What a finish this is going to be.
Much as the Indy 11 did against FC Cincinnati on Wednesday, I think Ren Schetsing will come in here too, knowing Indy is a man down. Quick restart, makes it all the way through. Ownby settles. The traffic, he misses it wide. Goal kick coming.
Tell you what, a play by Spencer to avoid Ouimet in that tight space in the box and put himself in a position to get that corner kick.
Ownby would have wanted that one back.
And he goes near post. If he goes far post, so many things can happen. Nicks off a defender. attacker gets a touch to it. But you got to at least make the 11 make a save.
As advertised, Fawn Williams draws a yellow. He can live with that. John Freeman, a glance at his watch. Braun can't keep that one in play. And the Brickyard Battalion gets a free soccer ball. Dying moments of this one. Iose, great tackle. Saad, no foul given. Ball settles to Ownby in the 98th minute.
Oh, what a serve.
Cross. Spencer missed it.
They had it.
And that's it.
That's
the match. Spencer knows it.
They had the equalizer.
But they didn't get it. And the Indy 11 finishes their week with a win against the best team in the Eastern Conference.
What a ball game.
The penalty by Iose sends the home fans home happy. 1-0 Indy 11 gets the best of the first three meetings between these two rivals this season.
Wow. Wow.
Look at the last opportunity.
What a serve.
Spencer will be thinking about that one all season.
Oh, my goodness.
A charmed life for Brad Ring and Seth Moses on that play as well.
Ah, they know it. They know it. They know it. Go play the lottery today, boys.
You need some lucky breaks at times, especially when playing one of the better teams in the league. So, a home victory, the second in this building for the Indy 11. And it's the first loss of the season for Lou City FC. Final score, Indy 11 wins it 1-0.